Hello learners, in this video we will talk about trends. Let us start. Now when I ask you to tell me what do you think is the trend like in this diagram, so you'll tell me simply that this is nothing but an uptrend. Now when I ask you about this, you will tell me that this is simply a downtrend. So now tell me, in terms of language, how can we distinguish between an uptrend and a downtrend? Let us understand how. So we call these points as the highs. What do we call these points as? We call these points as highs. These points we call them lows. Now if we look at the uptrend, we see that the highs which are being formed are getting higher. See, the highs are getting higher. So in an uptrend, we say that we see higher highs. As far as the lows are concerned, we see the lows even are getting higher. So in an uptrend, we say that we have higher lows. Let's come to the downtrend. In the downtrend, if we look at the highs, we see that the highs are falling. So we say that in a downtrend, we get lower highs, and similarly the lows are getting lower. We say that in a downtrend we see lower lows. Now let me draw one more diagram. Now if you look at this, it is neither an uptrend nor a downtrend. In this movement, if you look at the highs, we see that they are almost at an equal level. I mean, they are neither rising consistently nor falling. So we say that in a sideways market, we see that the highs are at almost equal levels. So we say that these are almost equal highs. If you look at the lows, we again come to a conclusion that these are almost equal lows. So now the theory part is over. Let us come to what is practical. In practical markets, we rarely see such kind of uptrends or downtrends, such kind of perfect diagrams like the ones we saw in the previous slide, where we talked about the higher highs and the lower highs. In practical markets, we see something like this. Now again, if I ask you to look at this and tell me what kind of a trend is this, you will say that it is obviously an uptrend. But the point to note here is that if you look at the highs, not every time we are seeing higher highs. At some places, we can even see lower high. And if we look at the lows, we can clearly see that not everywhere we are seeing higher lows. In fact, here we see that the lows are getting lower. Now in such cases, we use a drawing tool called the trend line. In an uptrend, we connect all the lows as far as possible and we draw a straight line which we refer to as the trend line. So this trend line represents an uptrend which is depicted by connecting all the lows in the movements. Again, this is a downtrend. But do we see lower lows and lower highs consistently? The answer is no. We see that the price has made lower lows and lower highs, but these are not consistently made. What I mean to say is, at some points, price made higher high. At some points, price made a higher low. So what we do here is, we make use of a drawing tool called a trend line. We draw a trend line by connecting all the highs in a downtrend. When we draw a trend line, we make sure that in a downtrend, most of the highs are covered. If not most, but we make sure, we try that we can connect maximum number of highs. Similarly, in an uptrend, we make efforts to draw a line connecting all the lows. The line will be called the trend line. Learners, trend line is a very simple but very powerful tool. Newcomers, beginners, when they enter into the stock markets and they find these tools like the supports and resistances or the trend lines, they think that this seems very easy, so let us skip this. But believe me, easier things work magic in stock markets. Never skip the easy things. In fact, if you work on perfecting these easy things, you will be a master in trading in no time. For me, a trend line is used to identify a trend. It gives a proper and a clear picture on a chart. When we plot it, we will see in the examples how it depicts a trend. Moreover, a trend line is a very important tool in terms of predicting a reversal. To know when the trend has reversed, a trend line can be very handy. So this is the importance of trend line. Never skip the concept of trend line. It is one of the most important thing which we will use in the chapter called the opportunity, where we will study how to enter a trade, exit a trade, how to look for opportunities and that stuff. So thanks for watching and goodbye.